Hey there, I'm Andrew Rodriguez, and today I'm going to show you how to change out a steering knuckle on your car. You might want to do this if you're hearing a loud grinding noise when you're driving, and if that grinding noise goes away when you turn to the left or to the right, it means you have a bad bearing. For changing out the bearing, you have options of where you could take the knuckle off, you could take it to a shop and have it pressed out. When you do that, you'll probably have to change out the hub too. This is the hub, and this is the bearing. We use Timken bearings. Been real happy with them. If you don't want to take it to a shop and have it pressed out, which can be time consuming and hard to find a shop that has a press to do it, we sell steering knuckles with the hub and the bearing all together. There's no core charge. Prices are very reasonable. This could solve a lot of problems, like if you have stripped out threading in the knuckles for where the bolts go in, or if you just need to get it done fast. Another problem that your steering knuckle could have is the ring that goes around the brake sensor could be bent. This one in particular is bent. When I turn it, you see it hits, this is the ABS sensor right here. The ring is bent and it's hitting the ABS sensor every time it goes around. That's not supposed to happen. So let's get started and I'll show you how to do this. Okay, for tools today we're going to be using a 19mm wrench, 18mm wrench, we're going to use some ratchets, we're going to use a 13mm, 17, 18, and 19mm socket. We'll also need a 12-point 30mm socket. To make things go quicker, we're going to use an air ratchet, an impact wrench. You must have a torque wrench, and we're going to need a breaker bar. Alright, before you take the car off the ground, you're going to want to take the 30mm socket, and you need to break the axle nut loose. This is a one-time use nut, so make sure you change it. Okay, the axle nut is out. Now I'm going to take out the wheel bolts. Alright, next we're going to take the caliper bolts loose. They're covered up by plastic trim pieces like this. They just pop out. And we're going to use a number 7 Allen to get them out. Okay, next I'm going to take the brake caliper off. You can use the bungee cord to hang it up in the air so you don't put stress on the brake line, or I'm going to use a hook that I use for powder coating. So you take the back of a claw hammer and you start clawing out. Once you have it started, you can wiggle it loose and take the hook, put it in the caliper, and I'm going to hang it up. Now the brake line's not going to get broken. Next thing we have is we got a bolt here on the strut tower to take out. We have 3 number 13s down here, and then we can pretty much take this loose. So I'm going to take these 13s out next. Alright, now I'm going to take the 3 13s out from the control arm. Alright, now we're going to take the bolt loose from the steering knuckle that's clamping it to the strut. This is going to take an 18mm socket on this side, and I'm going to put an 18mm wrench on the other. Comes out nice and easy. Alright, next we're going to take the nut loose from the tie rod. This takes a 19mm. Alright, now I got to take the Phillips screw head out of the brake disc. You're not going to get the pleasure of seeing us loosen up the drive shaft from the hub, but if you were going to loosen it up, you would probably want to use a 2-jaw or 3-jaw puller like this. You'd line it up, tighten this up, it would make that go in real easy. Alright, now we're going to take the brake disc protector off. It takes an 8mm socket. Alright, last step is I need to take the wheel speed sensor cable loose from the connector. So I'm going to take a hook, pick, and just going to pry the connector out a little bit. Lifts up and out real easy. You can just set that aside up here for safekeeping. Okay, next we're going to get the drive shaft out of the hub. It's already loose. And now we're going to actually take the knuckle off of the strut. It's real easy. You take a hammer and one hand holding on to the knuckle. Alright, real quick I'm going to show you how to tighten up the ball joint on the new steering knuckle. We're going to need a T30 and a 18mm wrench. You're going to use the wrench to hold the nut, and we're going to tighten it up with the T30. One of the tricks to getting the steering knuckle on is using a strut spreader. It's a tool that looks like this. It has a socket end on one end, and it's an odd shaped piece of metal. We're going to stick it in here, and I'm going to put a 13mm socket on it, and I'm going to open this strut up, and this is what it should look like when it's installed. It has spread apart the steering knuckle. Alright, again real quick, when you're doing this, this is a great time to be replacing other components that need replacing. This has a split boot here. The CV boot is split. This is a perfect time to be changing that. So check out your equipment before you do this job, but for this purpose of this video, we're just going to show you how to install the steering knuckle. Alright, real quick, we're not going to put the drive shaft into the steering knuckle until we've got it mounted on the strut. So I'm going to take the knuckle, and there's a clip on the back. Make sure it's lined up with the open slot here. Alright, once you get the knuckle onto the strut, you're going to want to finish it off with a 3-pound sledgehammer. And you just have to bring it high enough that you can get your bolt through the hole and through this piece of metal. Right, we're going to put the bolt back in. And you want to torque this to spec. Alright, that's almost all that we have for this installation video. In a minute we're going to roll through the torque specs for everything that you're about to put back on the car. And after you see those torque specs, I'm going to show you the proper way to torque down the axle nut. If you need any parts, I'm happy to help. We have lots of turbos, downpipes, all your maintenance items, whatever you need. Alright, the last and most important part of this job is you need to tighten down the axle nut. This is a one-time use nut. The procedure for this is we're going to put it on and we're going to torque it to 148 foot-pounds. And then after that, we're going to loosen it half a turn. We're going to spin the tire half a turn. And we're going to tighten it down to 37 foot-pounds. And then it's going to be another 1/6 of a turn. So we're going to go to 148 foot-pounds. We're going to back this off half a turn. Half a turn. You're going to lift the car up in the air. Spin the tire half a turn, lower it back down. Now we're going to tighten it to 37 foot-pounds. And now we're going to go another 1/6 of a turn. This would be a quarter turn, 1/4. So we're going to go in between. All right.